Hey, I've got to start this like I'm talking to someone who really hears the difference when sound finally feels complete, because that's exactly how the LS50 Wireless II hits your space. This isn't for someone who accepts fuzzy bass or flat mids. This is for the kind of listener who notices when music breathes instead of just playing, who can tell when detail finally matters, and who doesn't shrug at almost good enough. Before you go any deeper, check the current price and availability. Speakers like these don't linger when people start realizing what real audio presence really is. You know that moment, you plug in the speaker you've always used and something still feels thin? Maybe the lows barely make it past a rumble, maybe vocals sound stuck behind the instruments, or maybe every track just feels like it's missing weight. That's when you realize you've outgrown compromise. You're done with gear that can't deliver texture, clarity, and impact all at once. Then you hit play with these, and the relief shows up fast. It's not just clearer, it feels alive. The soundstage doesn't sit in front of you, it wraps around you. Instruments have space, vocals sit where they should, and that precision makes your ears go, oh, that's what it's supposed to sound like. Once you experience that level of performance, everything lesser feels like something you shouldn't have put up with for so long. Picture this, you start with your favorite song, and suddenly you're hearing layers you didn't know were there, harmonics in the guitar, breath in a singer's voice, tiny rhythmic details that make your skin tingle. Later, you switch to a movie, and every scene feels like it has depth instead of flat stereo pressure. Even everyday playlists you've heard 1,000 times feel fresh, because this speaker doesn't hide detail, it reveals it. That shift, when music stops being heard and starts being felt, it changes how you think about every track you've played before. You catch yourself thinking about how much better it sounds here, and every time you consider something weaker again, your mind circles back to that moment of richness and clarity. That's loss aversion. You don't want to give up what you've already tasted. Check stock again now while that impression is fresh. High-fidelity systems with built-in amplification and streaming ease don't stay available at a good price forever. If you're hesitating because it sounds just speakers, let's reshape that doubt. This isn't about something that just plays sound louder. It's about a system that respects the music itself, it lets tracks breathe, it gives them dimension, and it treats every nuance as part of the experience, not just background noise. Here's something most people don't expect until they live with it. These speakers don't force you to crank volume to feel presence. They feel full even at modest levels. Low volumes don't collapse into mush, and high volumes stay composed instead of straining. That confidence in dynamics is the kind of thing that doesn't just impress, it connects. You feel true separation between instruments. You enjoy dynamic depth without distortion. You get clarity that reveals new details. You own a system that respects your taste. You experience presence that pulls you into every moment. Downsides? They're not cheap, and they're not tiny little boxes you hide in a corner. Those are simply the trade-offs for speakers that don't mask detail or settle for mediocre output. At some point, the endless comparing and tab hopping stops. You already feel which experience satisfies you most. You choose what feels right, not what's uncertain or second-rate. So don't let this become one of those upgrades you delay and later think back on, wishing you'd heard your music the way it should have sounded sooner. Decide with confidence, check availability now, and bring home the clarity and presence your ears have been telling you to get.